So the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year, and they did it a lot because of the youth on this team. We talked about this ad nauseum last season, but how amazed we were that Jalen Carter looks like he's in his 6th year in the NFL. He was only in year 2. You have a lot of guys like Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and Jalix Hunt who played roles and major roles as rookies. There's guys on rookie contracts. You had guys like Milton Williams, who I know will probably be gone this offseason. But you had a lot of guys on their rookie deal still really playing well for the Philadelphia Eagles last year, coupled with the veterans, right? The core of Jalen and A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith on offense, the offensive line, obviously the secondary with Darius Slay, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Like, you had veterans that were major roles, but you don't win the Super Bowl if your young players don't play the way that they did. I mean, think about the Super Bowl itself. Patrick Mahomes could not get anything really done because Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, Jalix Hunt, Nolan Smith. So that's 2 rookies.
How about the exciting whites?
The exciting whites. But I'm talking about the pass rush made him miserable. And then Cooper DeJean has a pick 6. Quinyon Mitchell's locking down his guy. Like these young players on the Eagles defense, and even the Eagles offensive line. I mean, Cam Jurgens is only in year 1 as the starting center of the Eagles. They were spectacular. So the question is, Johnny, how do you continue to project the youth of the Eagles? I don't want to say flash in the pan by any means. I think these I think these guys are very talented. But we talked about the natural fall off that will probably happen. And I remember
with some players that happens.
You mentioned maybe Quinyon Mitchell because maybe teams target him a little bit more.
Well, they have a year of tape.
Right, exactly. But how do you continue to project the youth? Because a lot of guys checked off a box that a lot of players don't check off, winning a Super Bowl, and they're doing it on their rookie deals.
Yeah, I'm looking at it and saying there'll be some natural drop-off because that is going to happen. It's just the way it goes. But it doesn't mean that the drop-off is going to be like that when you're going to hear terms like sophomore slump.
Right.
I don't think Jalen Carter had a sophomore slump.
No.
I think Jalen Carter took it to another level. The thing is, you just can't project that every one of the young guys will be better in year 2 than they were in year 1. I have every reason to believe that Cooper DeJean is the real deal. I do also believe that the NFL is a smart league, and they're going to find ways to maybe try to exploit him.
The Adam Thielen game against the Panthers. He had a very bad game that day.
Bad game that day. Right.
Maybe an offensive coordinator looks at that tape specifically and says, all right, what did Adam Thielen, who is a vet who's lost a step, do that day to beat Cooper DeJean, who had a great season?
One of the things he tends to do is just get down there in the zone, in the soft zone, and just get down close to, like Zach Ertz-ish.
Right.
Get down close to the ground where there's no play on the ball other than you're going to catch it. Adam Thielen's ball mostly is he's going to catch it or you're not going to be able to get it.
Right, exactly.
It's one of the two. There might be things like that. I think that all of the talent, the good news is, Andrew, I don't believe any of them, like you say, have any type of flash in the pan, even quality to them.
Right.
Which I think is spectacular. But I do believe there are questions. I heard people saying on this radio station the other day, what if you were going to get Myles Garrett, which I do not believe is even a thing.
We're going to talk about that in this hour.
That would you get rid of this young player? And I heard people saying, well, you'd never get rid of Nolan Smith.
I would do it in a heartbeat for Myles Garrett.
And that's the kind of thing that there are certain guys, if I said the same thing to you about Cooper DeJean, would you say the same thing?
No.
Right. That's where I believe where I believe there are levels to this.
Well, it's not only that.
And levels to positions.
Well, that's the thing. Like, all right, so I'm replacing Nolan Smith, who had a hell of a season with a 5-time All-Pro. Whereas if I trade Cooper DeJean, all right, I'm now hurting my secondary. If anything, I'm improving my defensive line. Not that Nolan Smith is a bad player.
Not
but
at
Myles
all.
Garrett, there's levels to it. Like, guys, there are better players outside of Philadelphia. And so I would replace Myles Garrett, or I would replace Nolan Smith with Myles Garrett in a heartbeat.
And I also believe, in my mind, it's easier to find an impact player or a player who can be more than adequate at Nolan Smith's position right now. I do think you can find somebody.
Yeah.
I think you'll be able to find. This Eagles organization has even developed them.
Yeah.
So I feel better. I feel better. And I don't want to see Nolan Smith go anywhere.
Right.
So, but it's the idea of there are levels to where you think these youngsters are.
Yeah, I mean, look, I try to not sound disrespectful when I say this, but like I think there's 15 Josh Sweats in the NFL.
I believe that there are 15 Josh.
You know what I mean? Like guys that are clearly better than other players.
Sure.
But guys that aren't like the game wrecker. Like nobody's putting Josh Sweat and Myles Garrett in the same sentence. Nobody's saying Josh Sweat and Aiden Hutchinson. Like he's not that level of player. If anything, maybe Nolan Smith has a higher upside than Josh Sweat ever had in his career because we've kind of seen peak Josh Sweat, and he's going to most likely go elsewhere and get paid, and good for him.
And we wish him best. He's
Absolutely.
The best.
So how do you project some of the younger players on the Eagles, not just the rookies going into their second season, but guys that are going to go into their third year, their fourth year, maybe that fifth year option? Do you think that they continue to get better, which everybody did? Everybody played at an exceptional level this season, which is why we believe there will be some sort of natural fall off. Name the bad starter on the Eagles this year.
You're hard up for entertainment then?
Seriously, like
because you're not finding it.
Name the guy that going into the Super Bowl, other than Jake Elliott,
that somebody
you
would
were
say,
concerned about.
By the way, that is one.
That was good, but that's the only one.
But it would be the idea of saying to yourself, this guy's a problem. You really don't do it.
No.
You can't do it with the Eagles roster. And that's pretty amazing. But when youth is served, sometimes there's a little slight step back before you take the big jump.
So
thank you so much for checking out our content on the 97.5 The Fanatic YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed the video. And remember, you can always be checking the playlist. There may be something you missed from one of our shows during the day that you want to go back and check out. So every time you like a video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and you'll have that great content coming to you every single day. You're greatly appreciated.